purposes only. You'd be an idiot to listen to anything these degenerates say. Invest at your own risk, do research, but seriously don't listen to these ass clowns. Now enjoy Cash Daddies.
Welcome to Cash Daddies. We're Banking Fatties, the non-financial advice business podcast where we give you financial advice that we don't think you should listen to. Maybe you should, but don't do us if it doesn't go well. That's the whole point of it. Don't.
But is
don't
that
blame
financial
us.
advice in and of itself? Saying don't listen to us, that feels like financial advice.
Okay, well, I'm in a corner right now. I'm just trying to say, like, do it on your own. Like, make your own decisions. Be a grown up. Stop being an idiot. That's my point.
You sound like my grandma.
We're basically Johnny's grandma. Guys, welcome. Howie, how are you? Howie Dewey from New York. How are you, buddy?
Good. Try not to catch COVID for the 5th time.
Unbelievable. And
why is it going around again? And from what I'm hearing, this fucking strain sucks.
Oh, really? I see. My girl has it, and it's like a little cold or something. I heard it wasn't that bad.
I'm hearing
it's more contagious, but it's not. Apparently, it's not.
The whole thing is stupid. The whole thing. Done.
Look, I don't want to catch it again. I've had it 4 times.
That's crazy.
I know, dude. You know what? You need 1,000 more boosters, Howie. That's what I think will
my
save
IQ
you.
drops 20% every time I get it. I can't forget shit.
You can't forget shit. Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Dude, that's the worst. What if you couldn't forget shit and you just constantly are remembering shit? Constantly.
I can't remember anything.
You recognize every Uber Eats delivery driver. You're like, oh yeah, you delivered in 2015. I love you. Wow, that would be annoying. That would be a nightmare.
And then joining us, the super spreader himself, Johnny Woodard.
It wasn't me. I didn't spread it. I didn't have it.
I thought your girlfriend has it.
She has it. I didn't spread it. She's the super spreader. If anybody.
Who do you think gave it to her?
Probably. Well, when I was in North Carolina, she was hanging out with all her drunk girlfriends, and I'm sure it's one of those bimbos. She's in the other room. So I'm sure it was one of them. Anytime the girls start going out and drinking, somebody always comes back with something.
Johnny, can I ask you a question? Because you have a girlfriend that's super young. Does your girlfriend
that's not super young.
Johnny, was she 17, Johnny?
Okay. She's not
Johnny,
17.
let me ask you something, Johnny. Does your girlfriend get super dressed up to go out with the girls?
Not really. No, she's not one of those people. No.
Do you have to approve her outfit? Are you like?
No, I don't care about that.
You're like, oh yeah.
But no, it's not. It's never anything that I would like feel weird about. Never. No, okay. She's super modest actually. No, it's honestly like I dress up more than she does. Like because where I'm from, going to the movies was like a big deal. You had to drive 30 minutes to go to the movies. It meant something. So you dressed up a little bit, and she just looks like she's just rolling out of bed to go to the movies. I'm like, that's what you're wearing. Sometimes, but it's for the other reason.
That's so funny, Johnny. So, guys, how's your week? Besides getting COVID AIDS, how was your week?
Good week, solid week. 4th of July, man.
What'd you get into?
I went up north, and these neighbors that moved in a couple houses down. One of them just is this big butchy looking lady, man. Like, she looks like a dude. She's big. And I thought she was hanging out with her mother because her mother wears this like nightgown. Come to find out, it's her husband, and he's a cross-dresser. So we got a cross-dresser. He moved in 2 houses down. He's a fucking cross-dresser. He dresses like and one neighbor said, no, he's from England. That's how they dress over there. I'm like, no, man. That dude was wearing a short skirt the other day. I don't even. Yeah, I just, I
remember when I was in college and my fraternity house was basically on this fucking like Skid Row road. It was like just next to the Thomas and Mack. It was just everyone around the school, around my fraternity house was just basically homeless or on the verge of homeless. And across the street was a guy, and we would be doing stuff with the pledges, and then this dude, because nobody knew who he was until later, but he would come out dressed like a woman, and everyone thought it was a chick, and they would just cheer him on because he was just dancing, and I would just laugh. And go, you guys know that's a guy, right? That's a guy dressed like a girl. And like that was back in the day when like being a cross-dresser meant something. Like you were an outlaw. You were on the outside of the fringes. You lived that life. because you couldn't live any other life. Now people just do it for social like credit and just like to be like told, oh my God, you're so brave. You're so brave.
This guy thinks doing it because he's out in the wilderness and he thinks nobody can see him. But fucking dude, you're on your dock. Everybody can see you.
He's just on his dock in high heels walking around.
No, he dresses like fucking Ebenezer Scrooge, man. That's what he looks like.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
He's got one of those long dresses and he looks like he's floating.
So hold on, you got a Victorian cross-dresser?
Yeah. Old school. Yeah.
Really?
Are you sure this isn't a ghost situation here? This sounds like this could be a ghost. This is a candidate
Johnny,
for a
I told
ghost.
you about the time I saw a Victorian hooker
Cross-dresser.
on Santa Monica Boulevard one time.
And was this perhaps around October 31st, Sam? That would be my next
No, it wasn't,
question.
Johnny.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Interesting. All right.
Stan, did you used to just beat the shit out of the pledges? Because I mean, I went to Cortland State and I was in a fraternity, and wow, woo! Some of the stuff we would do, you would do 5 to 10 today, no doubt, easily 5 to 10 for what we used to do to some of these guys.
That's why I didn't join a fraternity, dude. They were trying really hard to get me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Unless you tell me what's going to happen. I'm not agreeing to anything. I'm not, I didn't.
We kidnapped 2 dudes and like literally duct taped them and took hoses and tied them up, put them in the back of my truck.
Not doing that.
4 hours.
No fucking way.
4 hours and dropped them off and had some guy watch them for 24 hours so they couldn't get back. I mean, you couldn't do that. You couldn't kidnap people today.
No, rightly so. Nobody should be kidnapped because they want to join a social club.
That is so fun, yet so
not the mafia.
One of the dudes we kidnapped, he's in the DEA today. He's a DEA agent.
See what you did to him? See what you did to him.
Yeah, you ruined everybody else.
The other guy's one of my best friends. He literally is one of my best friends.
You ruined it for anyone else doing drugs now, Johnny. I mean, Howie. So, guys, let's get into it. Great. So, I don't know if you guys, obviously, you're not in on the GameStop stuff, but a guy who's been on Tinfoil Hat before, a really great content creator named Ian Carroll. He met up with this other content creator who's doing really great work named James Lee, and they did something about GameStop. And I know how he's out on GameStop, but man, this video is so interesting. What Ian Carroll was talking about, and what James Lee basically illustrated and just basically showed what Ian Carroll was talking about, and it was about how basically this GameStop thing has shown that there's a lot of shady shit going on with Wall Street, like a lot of shady shit. And one thing is that this these dark pools. Do you know what those are, Howie? Dark pools?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What is your take on dark pools? And Johnny, if you're a nerd dork, could you look up what a dark pool is and in a nerd dork voice tell us what it is?
Okay. Well, I mean, I've gone over this with people on Wall Street. I don't know how much truth there is to it, man. I really don't. I mean, because there's conglomerates of people that can go in and short the shit out of something, and they can manipulate a stock and make it move any way they want quickly.
This is from Investopedia. What is a dark pool? Is this the nerd voice you were hoping for? Dark pool is privately organized privately organized financial forum or exchange for trading securities. Dark pools allow institutional investors to trade without exposure until after the trade has been executed and reported. Dark pools are a type of alternative trading system, that's an ATS, that gives certain investors the opportunity to place large orders and make trades without publicly revealing their intentions during the search for a buyer or seller.
So what's interesting about this is that the head of the is it the SEC? Is that what it is, John?
The Securities and Exchange Commission. That's right.
He goes on this morning show and he kind of says something that even shocks the host on the show. And he says that most of the average person's stock activity gets put in a dark pool. He goes 95% of the action actually gets put in a dark pool. which is super interesting, right? You're like, I mean, are we really even participating in Wall Street if they're putting all of our stuff into a dark pool?
Well,
but what I found interesting and something that Johnny and I guess, yeah, we brought it up to Howie a lot about how, like, you know, because Howie's an old school liberal. I would say I'm an old school liberal with a conspiracy slant, right? Like I would call it more libertarian than anything. And we've come on here before. We've asked Howie questions about, well, how's this stock doing, because based on the content I'm watching, everyone's saying they're taking huge losses here, huge losses there. And then Howie will always go, well, no, it's doing well. And we're like, that sounds kind of interesting. Well, I'll send you this video, Howie. You're going to love it.
I mean, dark pools basically, it looks to me like, I mean, most of it is traded in after hours. I mean, let's say you get a hedge fund and they have 100,000 shares or something, and they go out and they're selling 100,000 shares, and they find a buyer, another hedge fund, who wants to buy at a specific price. I mean, I think legally they can do that without you or I knowing about it. You know, how is that going to open up the next day? May open up a little bit, down, may open up a little bit. Who knows? I think that shit happens all the time. I'm not disagreeing, but I don't think it affects it. Like if you watch a stock throughout the day, it moves because of supply and demand. I mean, the more demand that a stock has, like Tesla today, the higher that stock's going to go. When that stock runs out of or has more supply than demand, it's going to drop. So I think dark pools basically are large blocks that, you know, 401ks, pension funds, hedge funds, I think they do trade those things, between each other. But it's regulated by the SEC.
Good. It sounds like that used to be the case, but I'm reading here that, okay, I'm just going to start in the middle of this. Bloomberg LP owns the dark pool Bloomberg Trade Book, which is registered with the SEC. Dark pools were initially mostly used by institutional investors for block trades involving a large number of securities, like you're saying. However, dark pools are no longer used only for large orders. A 2013 report by Celent, or I don't know how to say that, found that as a result of block orders moving to dark pools, the average order size dropped by about 50%, from 430 shares in 2009 to about 200 shares in 4 years. So if the average trade is 200 shares, that's not huge.
No, but my whole point is I don't get that, because the whole purpose of dark pools used to be that large institutions could trade a huge block without making the movement of the price, without making the stock move. Yeah. They didn't want to become front runner.
Right. So they didn't want to affect the price that they're buying it at by letting everybody know.
Not while they were hunting for the trade.
Yeah. Right. They didn't want to become front runners, because look, if I'm a huge pension fund and I'm like, look, let's unload the shit out of Amazon. Let's sell 500 shares of Amazon. I want to get it at a specific price. I don't want to have to sell 50,000 shares at 232, 50,000 shares at 225, 50,000 shares at 215. I want to be able to unload that whole block without moving it too much. That's kind of how I think how dark pools came about.
They're also saying that HFT, high frequency traders can make a killing from this if they can access this, the ability to make these trades, because by the time they've closed out their position, it's instant profit if they can avoid exposure like we're talking about. So that's another angle. Apparently a lot of high frequency traders are involved. This is from Investopedia if you want to check this out.
You better have a lot of capital. I mean, to make money doing that, you got to have a lot of money. But yeah, I agree totally.
But the really interesting thing here is that so they were talking about what made this GameStop so interesting and this whole situation. And it was that for the first time ever, like, you had the internet versus these hedge funds, and the hedge funds were secretly all like trying to tank these things so they can make billions. And these guys they started seeing value in it. So this guy that owned this like online dog like puppies or paws, or I forget the name of the online dog service, right? He sees what's going on with GameStop, starts buying big chunks of it, right? He eventually becomes CEO of GameStop. And for the first time ever, GameStop is now making a profit. It's the first time ever because he has this way of, because he's known for being able to bang with Amazon and all these other giant, like these huge online services. He's been able to find a way to compete with them, and he's done it with GameStop. But what's very interesting.
Oh, is he the guy from Chewy? Is that who he is?
Chewy, that's it. Chewy.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's a huge company. Yeah.
Ryan Cohen. He flipped it. Ryan Cohen, right? He flipped it, and now it's starting to be profitable. But here's the interesting thing, okay? So they were studying the markets, and they were studying that like people were buying up GameStop all the time, and the price was still going down. And this is what I found really interesting because Howie, we talked about this all the time. We're like, I don't understand how these stocks are doing well when everything I'm reading everywhere else is saying subscriptions are down, this is down, that is down, all that down. And like it almost gets to the point, let me just finish this point, is that it's almost like it's all completely manufactured. It's just a giant Ponzi scheme, and they're just telling us what they want us to pay for it.
No, that's not, I mean, someone can say that, but I can tell you why people kept buying it. The stock was going down because let's say you and I and Johnny and 5,000 of our followers go out and buy 100 shares of GameStop. You know, you would think, all right, we're all buying it. It's got to go up. When you got one hedge fund, one institutional person on Wall Street that says, okay, great. Look, the stock's going up. Let's short the shit out of it. And they short 500,000 shares or whatever. That's going to take all 5,000 of us down in 2 seconds. That's what's going on with Tesla right now. So Tesla, and I'll use an analogy just like GameStop. Tesla is up 44% in 10 days. And the big institutional guys right now, they've been shorting it the whole way up, and they're getting their asses handed to them because there's just too many of us, too many of the little guys keep buying it and pumping it up. And whenever they put that stock up, the institutional guys are getting crushed, and they have to cover their shorts. So what they have to do is they have to cover their shorts by buying it. They got to buy it to close out their short positions, and that's going to pump it up more. That's called a short squeeze. And that's what's going on with Tesla right now, and that's why GME went through the roof. So, you know, that's what it is. It's these large institutions, and that's how I think it's rigged. Because when you have access to that much capital, you can move a stock. You know, and that's why GME became so cool, because that was Reddit. That was the little guy. That was thousands of little guys pumping it, saying, fuck you, Wall Street, keep shorting it. We're going to keep buying it. And that's kind of why I went to like 200, and it really was a fake explosion. So
it's also why they shut down trading, because those guys never get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. You know, I mean, it's never happened. And they don't want to play by it. They don't want to play that way. That's not, you know, it's just guaranteed. I mean, think about it. Those hedge funds are money printing machines. I mean, they don't lose money. Those things. If you look at the top hedge funds, those guys just don't lose money. And there's nothing. I mean, unless you're cheating, that doesn't make any sense, really. So I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right, Johnny. I mean, they usually don't. They got killed with GameStop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah,
they got crushed with AMC and a few other of these because, you know, they actually ran out of Citadel and some of those guys. They ran out of capital, you know, and you could see it happening. Look, Tesla's up 44% in 10 days. We took you can call it a short position today. We bought TSLQ, which is basically short Tesla today. It hit 261, 262. We bought puts on it. And my whole theory is, look, it's gone up 10 days in a row. Is it going to continue? No, it's not. One of these days, it's going to drop 20 points. We're going to bank. You know, that's what we do. I like seeing where the money's going. And I think as a little guy, that's the only way you can play the market. You can't, because we can't compete with these big guys. You know,
Right.
I can't compete with dark pools. You know, with large 100,000 share blocks that can move a stock any which direction. But what I can do is I can watch. I can see when a stock starts moving in a certain direction, or if it's bottoming out, and I can just kind of make a good educated guess. You know, and that's why we've been successful. So, but no, Sam, you're right. Those dark pools, they're real. They're regulated by the
It's kind of crazy, right?
They're regulated. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, would it be easy to fix? Yeah, it would. Absolutely. Sure. There's no doubt. There's probably a lot of corruption there. I'm not saying there isn't.
Crazy times, dude. Hey guys, I want to tell you about our friend James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Has it pissed you off to watch crypto fly up in prices for over a decade and you still done nothing about it? It makes sense. It totally makes sense. Crypto is complicated and it's really boring. Well, we're here. Well, here's the good news, okay? You don't need to know a thing about crypto to make the money so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has over 54,000 subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 into each one, it went on to be worth over $123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said. That one alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify for yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Sam. That's copymycrypto.com/Sam, SAM. You'll not only find the proof of everything I've said, but my viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you've missed out on Bitcoin, but there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any more time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/Sam. It's ended money worries for so many. It may just do the same for you. Okay, what else are you into, Howie, this week?
I mean, we got lucky today. We sold half our BABA position last week, banked like 40%. And then it dropped, sold half of it, but it came back up nicely today, banked another 20 out of BABA 100%. We bought some of these stocks that are, you know, Nike hit an all-time low. Nike, I think, is at a 5-year low. It's at like $72. That's when it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce at some point. You know, took a big position today. I'm not gonna lie. Tesla hit 262. It's up from 220 in the last, I think, week. So yeah, I bought some puts on it. And also bought this TSLQ, which is in, you know, a bunch of Tommy's guys bought it too today. I think it's headed back down. When anything goes up 10 days in a row, you know, you're playing the odds. That's what you're doing. You're saying, is it going to go up 11? Is it going to go through the roof? You know, theoretically, it could go to infinity. Could go to 1,000. I don't think so. I think it drops back to 230, which we'll sell it. We'll bank.
What was that
All
big?
you can do
Sorry, Howie. What was that big Nike drop on like the 27th, 28th, where it went from like 94 to 76? What was there? Was there news that day? I was out of town. Man, it dropped like a stone on around the 27th, 28th.
They came out with
just earnings.
The future. I mean, less margins, lower earnings, not selling as many shoes, blah blah blah. Poor leadership. So they hired some guy today to come in and take over one of the departments. Look, it's Nike. I think they'll probably steady right here between 75 and 80 and slowly go up over the next few years. It's probably a good buy here.
All right.
But yeah, they definitely shit the bed. Hey, another reason I like Tesla, I think Tesla's going to drop because Kathy Woods came out and she took her biggest position right now is in Tesla. So, I mean, I gotta go everything. Whatever Kathy does, I gotta do the opposite. I'm sorry. It's been successful the last 3 years.
I mean, look what she did to Bitcoin over the past couple. I mean, remember, wasn't it a month ago that she came out and was like, "Yeah, you gotta, we're buying big into Bitcoin, baby." And now,
Bitcoin, as soon as she said that, it dropped.
I'm getting so screwed on some of them. I tried to sell. I'm going to tell you why crypto is never going to work. Because people like Coinbase can completely and utterly fuck you when you try to pull your money out. That is not an honest system.
What are you saying when you're saying that, Sam? Are you talking about fees or are you talking about...
No. Like, I tried to get out of a certain position on a certain coin. It wouldn't let me.
Coinbase?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me get out.
But now, that might not be Coinbase. That might be
nobody
liquidity.
Might be wanting to buy it. But all I was trying to do is convert it. I wasn't trying to sell it.
But that's even harder. If you were trying to sell it, you probably would have gotten out of it. Trying to convert it, that's the hard thing because you have to find somebody that wants to go from that other thing you're trying to convert to the coin you have. Which
that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, it's a trade. What do you?
Let's say I should. Okay, I got you. That's fucking awful.
I mean, if you wanted to move into that other coin, you first should really if the liquidity pool's not, if there's not liquidity available, you could maybe sell it, and then
I'm probably gonna smack and kill everybody. I'm gonna kill everybody.
But yeah, Bitcoin's back up to 58 almost now, so that's I've been buying. I bought it a lot at 55. I was like, shit, dude.
That's a good price. I mean, I think long term it is.
Yeah, if you're willing to wait, buy it.
I love reading Twitter and some of these experts saying that, Bitcoin's going to 5. It's going to 10.
That's Schiff, man. That's Peter Schiff. He's fucking...
Yeah, and I respect him. He's a damn smart guy.
I do, too. I love him on gold, man. I followed him for a long time. He was a big...
He thinks it's going to 5? He thinks it's going to 5?
Well, he said that from the beginning, though. He said that...
He thinks it's going to 0. Let me tell you. There's a lot of very smart dudes that have been in the market for 40, 50 years. They all think it's fake. It's garbage. It's never going to be used. It's going to 0. The only reason I don't think that is because I'm looking at the big boys who are manipulating the shit out of it, like BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. These guys are buying it. They got ETFs they're not going to let that happen. I mean, that's why I think it's going higher. That's just my own opinion, but yeah, Shift and a lot of these dudes, they have no faith in it.
My GPU is killing me. Ugh. Come on, GPU. Where is James when you need him? Got to get him back on here to pump some GPU. Let's do this.
Yeah, just tell him to call his cousin and her sister. That thing.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. They're like, it will explode next year. I'm like, I'm gonna ride it to the ground in hopes that it does.
Or you could just buy some stocks right now like UPS, Nike. I mean, these things are going to head up. Probably Disney long term, Cat, John Deere. It's such a bizarre market right now, and it's I've never seen it this much of a spread between large cap tech, big technology companies, and just old school, solid industrial companies. Like the NASDAQ is hitting all-time highs every day on just a few stocks. If you own Meta, if you own Apple, which we do in the 2024 portfolio, which is why we're kicking the S&P's ass, Apple, Google, Meta, Tesla right now, NVIDIA, these stocks are about 75% of the whole NASDAQ. If they have a bad week, you're going to see the NASDAQ easily take 1,000-point hit. It won't be a big deal. But most stocks are not going up. Most stocks are steady or going down. There's not a lot of breadth. I've never seen it like this. It's crazy. You got some stocks hitting all-time highs, other stocks hitting all-time lows. Apple hit an all-time high, I think, yesterday. Nike hit an all-time low.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it kind of reflects what's going on in the economy, at large. When you consider how many people are doing better than ever right now, when in this, with inflation at peaking, it's so it's hammering lower class people,
Yeah.
but the people at the top are.
Congress was wild today. You had Chairman Powell coming out.
Yeah.
And you had him today, and man, that fucking Elizabeth Warren, the crazy bitch from New Jersey, she went off on him.
She sucks, yeah.
She went ballistic on him. He's like, listen, inflation is slowing. We're not going to lower rates yet, but, we're definitely, he came out and said, we're definitely not going to raise them. I think they will lower rates probably before the election. They'll lower them 25 basis points, maybe 50. But, a lot of these stocks, it's not going to matter who wins the election, what interest rates do. These stocks, as long as they beat their earnings, they're going to continue to go up. Stocks like Uber, which I still love, man. I love Uber. Apple, I don't see that thing tanking anytime soon. I think Tesla's going to drop back 20, 30 points, but I think it's still going to continually probably head up some. But it's wild right now. It's wild. But they got crazy at Congress today. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was reading the reports. It's and Jerome Powell, I mean, he's such a dry guy to listen to. He's great when they're trying to grill him, and he's just throwing numbers at them, like it's like watching paint dry listening to that guy talk.
Well, it's wild because you listen to both Republicans and Democrats ask him questions, and you see how clueless these people are economically. They don't have a fucking idea of what's going on in the economy on both sides.
It's funny though, the sharpest people on most of this shit want to end the Fed. In my experience, like you have some of the smartest people there are just like, we should just get rid of the Fed completely, which is, it's never going to happen, I don't think. But unless they piss Trump off enough, I don't think that he's ever going to do that. But
the Supreme Court fucking out of their minds.
Yeah,
those guys are whacked. They basically passed some of that shit. My buddy's a lawyer. He's a Republican lawyer, and he was pissed off. He's like, yeah, they set us back like 30 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
I don't.
Yeah, you got morons on both sides making decisions.
Yeah, that's it,
dude. That's my whole. This town of Los Angeles. I think most people think I'm a Republican. I'm not. Both sides are dumb. The problem is that most people in Hollywood won't come to grips with their side are idiots, and that most of the people, rich, progressive, social justice warrior children, are an infection, and they infect everything that they come into. Okay, they infect and kill everything they come into, and they end up killing it. And what happens is you just have a bunch of people that are so rich that they can play make-believe, and they end up just destroying everything they touch. So when you go, Howie, both sides suck, that's what I've been saying forever, but they don't want to hear that because they want make-believe. Good guys, bad. Like, you see this new Louis C.K. things coming out? They got a new doc on Louis C.K.
Oh God, what, HBO or something?
Yeah, and it's just like all these comics who have nothing to do with it, like just teeing off on. Right?
They're jealous. Shit, they're jealous pieces of shit.
It's like Andy Kindler's on there.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that. His end of
100%.
The year, like, state of comedy. Like, we need some asshole from the East Coast
and then he
to
goes
tell
on
us the state of
Last
comedy.
Comic Standing.
Fuck off.
And starts fucking judging other comedians.
Louis C.K. is the best comic. He's the best comic. One of the best in my generation.
Listen,
get the fuck out of here.
What he did, if you have daughters, you'd be like, that's fucking wrong. Okay? All right? He 100% has been excommunicated and out. He's out. Okay? What do you want? They get so angry. But what do you want? He's never been put on trial. He's never gone on trial. He's never gone to jail. He's never been convicted of a crime. Like,
he never did anything. Come on. He didn't do anything.
It's just like crazy to me, just listening to these comedians who have nothing to do with it, just crying. And then you got this one female comic whose whole career takes off because she got on a show she got on a woman's show who fucked her married boss. Chelsea Handler, you only know about Chelsea Handler because she fucked her married boss.
Good for her. Well, right? I mean, good for her. Whatever.
Well, I mean, she's a garbage person, but
no, but I'm saying, like, if you're willing to fuck your way to the top and not complain about it after,
and to cry about how women are treated in Hollywood is absolutely hilarious. Because what happens is people just complain because they didn't make it to the level they wanted. So it can't be that they just weren't good enough. Like me, I'm either shadow banned or I suck. I'll accept either answer for why my career is where it is. I'm shadow banned to the dark realms or my comedy just sucks. I'll accept it. You go, dude, I don't find you funny. I get it. You're not the first person to say that. Okay. But these people just get to the point where they're so they can't come to grips that the career didn't go the way they want to. And it can't be that they weren't good enough or didn't work smart enough. It's just that it just didn't happen. Guess what? That's most people.
This movie's not being well reviewed. I will at least say it's
just dumb.
A lot of people are saying it
jerked off in front of people. That
clear.
happened to me when I was in college, dude. I walked in the library and this black guy was just beating his meat in the library, and I was like, "Damn, this guy loves history, dude." And I just got the fuck out.
Hey, man. Yeah, I mean, it's happening.
I'm not saying it's right, man, but like the way these people are, like, I can't believe they don't have their fucking social media fucking handles in there so these guys can get some fucking followers off this thing.
Yeah, that's so funny. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, and what you said earlier about you being a considered Republican. I mean, think about what they've done to Bill Maher. That guy was the Democrat for all of the late 90s, early 2000s. He was Mr. Democrat on TV. And nothing about his opinions has changed, and they've made him like a hardcore right winger now. By how far they've moved that, the mainstream of the Democratic Party to the left. That I never thought I would see that. The guy who created the film Religulous, that just shits on religion, which is not something I love. It's madness. I mean,
better remember those 10 Commandments if you live in Louisiana.
Well,
it's just fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's like, look, I don't think the government should touch shit. I find myself every day like, God damn it, I'm a libertarian more than anything. Like, I just find myself every day hating everything the government does. Which I will say, this is why bank stocks are going through the roof right now. This is why the 2024 portfolio owns a shitload of XLF, because it looks like they're starting to lower regulations going forward. And when you lower regulations, you have more mergers and acquisitions, more M&As coming, and banks go through the roof. Like it or not, agree with it, disagree with it. Who gives a shit? That's why we're buying banks right now, because they're going up. Call me greedy. I'm all about trying to put money in my own pocket. Fuck it. Politically, I just hate getting involved with both sides. Everything both sides do, it's so bad on a daily level. So I just try to follow and see where the money's going and try to bank fatties. That's all you can do, man. That's it.
Another story that kind of fits into what we were talking about earlier. The median U.S. home sale price is up to $397,000 now, almost $400,000.
Unbelievable, dude.
That's the highest. It's an all-time high.
How will it ever go down? It will. How does it go backwards?
I mean, it would take, it would take a reversal of the madness with and I think we're seeing what the results partly of the COVID buying of institutions. Remember during COVID, Sam, all the institutions were just buying up properties everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing now the results of that limited availability of homes.
Johnny, I saw this tweet. I'm going to look for it in my mass tweets that I do nonstop tweeting because I just have an addiction. But somebody tweeted that a guy in like Georgia created a software that can quick buy property, and he's now the number one property owner in Georgia.
How does that work though? Because don't you need? I mean, doesn't that require a lot of paperwork and?
You gotta go through a closing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see.
I got one in 2 weeks. It takes forever.
Are you sure it doesn't? Are you sure it doesn't like target properties for people to buy, and then
here
you
it
have to
is.
go in and
Here it is, Johnny. 36-year-old. This is Business Insider. If you want to write these words into your thing
okay,
to see.
yeah. Go ahead.
A 36-year-old chess prodigy built a software to speedy buy homes from afar for big investors, beating out everyday buyers. Now he's Atlanta's top broker.
Okay, yeah. So it's not instant. He's just identifying value before everybody else and getting in and buying the houses. It sounds like, but yeah, that's.
Dude,
I wonder how you would do
we're
that.
up against it, bro.
Can I just say, here's the interesting thing. His clients, it says, are not. He's not his client, and it's mostly hedge funds and private equity firms. That worries me a little bit. According to this Business Insider story.
Do that. I know you could find certain areas and look at prices within certain areas, but you still have to physically walk in and inspect it, look at the foundation, see if there's
a lot of people aren't doing that, man. That guy we had on, remember, was saying that he was buying a lot of houses sight unseen. Remember that guy we had on that was sending out those mailers to people? Because we asked him if he was seeing every house, before he bought it, and he was like, no. So that's
crazy.
I mean, it must be just, if the numbers are, it's kind of if you have a large enough number that those things kind of even themselves out. Yeah, every now and then you probably get a dud that, has a rotting foundation or whatever. But if you can, expand your pool of properties enough, it's profitable. Profitable enough for it.
There must be a lot of properties where you basically are like, look, we plan on buying the property, tearing everything down, and buying and building new stuff. That's got to be.
Yeah, I bet that's part of it. How it probably identifies areas where rezoning would make sense. You can maybe make it commercial. I'm just going to read. Okay, so AJ Steigman sold more houses in Atlanta last year than any other broker, despite the fact that he lives in Florida and has no full-time staff. He's able to sell residential properties from thousands of miles away thanks to a $20,000 computer. Wow, okay. And a proprietary software system called SteigNet. He named it after himself.
Damn.
That's funny.
Damn.
That he launched at the UPenn in 2018. The system's algorithms scan large data sets to identify undervalued single-family homes. Oh, okay. Before the human competition. Its name is a reference to Terminator's villainous Skynet, of course. But you won't find any mom and pop home buyers on his client roster. Instead, he works with investors that flip homes or rent them out for profit. There you go, Howie. He declined to name his clients, but he told Insider that they include hedge funds, high net worth family offices, and billion-dollar plus private equity firms, institutions. So this is just more of what we were talking. This is what's driving up the home prices right here. This is this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Institutional investors, which can range from small-time landlords to major players on Wall Street, bought a record high of 18.4% of U.S. homes in the fourth quarter of 2021.
Yeah,
how can that be good? How can that be good?
Yeah. No, that sucks. That sucks. And as someone who's buys one or two homes every now and then, or anyone.
How many homes do you own, dude?
I closing one in 2 weeks.
So that would be one, or
no? I have another one. I have another one upstate. Upstate, I have another one.
Okay,
but that's mostly that's just for the summer.
Okay. Whoa! Somebody owns a summer house. Dude.
Yeah, I don't go up there in the winter. Shit, it's free. Usually it's cold, but it's right on a lake, man. You guys ever want to use it? Let me know. It's all yours. It's got boats, all kinds of shit right on the lake. You'd love it, man. Bring your girls up there. It's nice.
What's it called when you won't move out? What do they call that?
Squatting. Dude, I just watched the documentary.
I'll squat in that motherfucker in 2 seconds.
Dude, there's something going on with that squatting thing. I can't figure out what the narrative is or like the reason for this. But it's everywhere now, dude. It's everywhere. There's a documentary series on Netflix called The Roommate from Hell. And there's this 2-parter about this guy who became a professional squatter. He would just go in and respond to Craigslist ads. And then he would show up there and when they said, hey, come by and check the place out. And then he would be like, after he was shown the place, he'd be like, well, I got my stuff in my U-Haul. My wife kicked me out, make up some shit like that, And so if you just want to take the cash now, I'll go ahead and move in. And then the next day, dude, after they let this guy move in, he'll start moving furniture around, like their furniture, or taking like their property and hiding. But not far from that. And then so the landlord eventually is like, dude, what are you doing? Why do you keep moving my furniture around? And he's like, well, I live here now. This is my place. And he would take it over, bro.
I'm telling you, I would fuck somebody up. I'm not even kidding, dude.
No, that's what this one girl did who's got huge balls, bro. What she started doing for this fuck is started having these huge parties until like 5 a.m. right outside his door, and everybody go and blow weed smoke under his door, to drive him crazy. And turns out he's a homicidal because he came out and grabbed her by the throat and slammed their leg in the door. And I'll
kill him. I'll fucking come with a gun.
Well, he killed him.
We saw that.
He killed his brother and then killed himself. So the guy was crazy.
Okay. We had a conversation about exactly what you're talking about. We're on a boat. It was myself and two girls this weekend. And we got to talk about what you were talking about. Exactly. And I said, here's what would happen if in that situation. We buy a house, squatters move in, they change the locks, they're not moving out. You have to have someone in your family, my girlfriend's whole side of the family, who has actually done good solid time in jail or prison like Rikers. You got to have somebody crazy enough that you can just hire and say, I don't care how you do it, but I want them out of the house in 24 hours. And that's it. That's all you do. You just pay them and make sure, and they'll get them out. Oh, you know people that will get them out. They'll find a way to. Now they may die or lose a limb, but they're going to end up being out of the house. You got to. That's the only way.
I just don't even understand. I would show up. It's my property. I would show up with a fucking gun. You remember when that guy Tesla?
You go to jail. You'd be the one to go to jail, dude. Especially in California.
Yeah, you got to hire a crew. You got to hire a crew. Sam.
No, it has to be the sheriff's office, and you have to file eviction papers, and that takes months.
So I'll tell you a real funny story real quick. One of my best friends from high school, he was a lieutenant colonel in the Marines for years. He'd been in all 5 wars, starting from Iraq 1. And he had a property on Long Island. He was renting out to this guy for like 7 years, and he's going to sell the property. So he gave the guy 30 days, so you got to move out. And the guy didn't move out. So, of course, he's from my hometown, upstate New York. He came up with the actual maniac idea to bring me as the town supervisor, the guy that's in charge of evicting people.
What the fuck?
So, So he goes, Howie, all you got to do is just go with me. Your name is going to be Joe Wilson, and you are the town, you're the guy that evicts people. So I show up, we knock on the door. The guy comes out, Tony says, hey, listen, I've given you plenty of time. I had to bring Joe here, and, Joe, it's his job to evict people. And what I forgot was that I was wearing an AC/DC t-shirt.
Oh, fuck.
And the guy comes to the door and he goes, oh, really? This is the town guy, huh? So when did he start wearing an AC/DC t-shirt? And I literally looked over and I'm like, Tony, man, you could have told me to wear something more professional. This really is a bad fucking look. And that was it. I started laughing and walked away. I'm like, nah, man, he got us. And I think he moved out a few weeks later, but it didn't work. It did not work.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. We live in an inverted world right now. We live in an inverted world.
Yeah. But hey, what can you do, man? I think I would lose my shit, but you got to be smart about it. You got to hire a crew, pay him, and say, go get this guy out of it. That's the way to do it.
Target took another step toward going cashless, Sam. You're going to love this. They're no longer accepting personal checks, so get ready. The next step will be no cash. I don't know
it's so crazy that someone's actually doing checks. A
lot of old people do. A lot of old people still do checks, man. And this will be a problem for old people who. Right, my mom still wrote checks because of business, keeping track of business. It's easier because they like to, it's just easier for her to keep track of the business expenses when you're writing checks. You have a checkbook. So that's, that's the next step will be cashless.
I don't like at all. It pisses me off to walk into, in New York, a coffee shop or something, and they're like, sorry, we don't take cash. That shit pisses me off because I'm pretty sure it's a law, man. I'm pretty sure every place is supposed to take cash. You got bars in New York City and restaurants that only take cash. That don't take, and I can respect that.
Because so many people are skipping on their tabs. That's what that's about, right?
I can respect it.
Where?
Bars. He's saying bars in New York that
people are just skipping out on their tabs.
No, he's saying that there are bars in New York that only take cash, and I was just saying it's because people are skipping on their tabs. You know,
I like that. I don't like going to MetLife Stadium or Madison Square Garden. They don't take cash anymore. Any big sporting event, you got to have a card. I don't like it, man. I just don't. I don't like where we're going with that. I think you should always be able to use greenbacks.
I don't think there is any law about that. I know Sam was saying the same thing, but I don't think. I think you can just take whatever you. I mean, I think you can just. You know, you can. It's your business, right? You can do whatever you want. If
we gotta get Tony back on Bitcoin, and talk some gold.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. I also remember the price of a postage stamp going up? Used to be a big deal. It used to happen once. You know what? Every 5 or 10 years. You know, and it's gone up. Postage stamps have increased twice this year alone. Now a postage stamp is now going to be 73 cents. It went up to 68 cents earlier this year, and now it's going to be 73 cents for a postage stamp. It's more of
that's who uses the mail anymore? I mean,
old people. Again, it's all shit that fucks like old people and poor people. It's all this stuff.
Yeah, we had literally, it took 6 months to. My dad, I think he's figured out Venmo now. So that's
really
process, man. You got to have.
It's just so convenient, right? They just get you on the convenience.
Yeah, that's it, man. You'll give away so many of your freedoms for convenience in this country. It's
so crazy. It's just so much easier just to pay somebody through that.
Think about what we TSA pre-check, dude. That's something. I mean, we both made that bargain. Give them our fucking data and give them our retinal scans and our thumbprints and just for a little convenience.
So here's the whole thing, right? Like people are like, I don't want Elon Musk to have my fucking driver's license. You know, it's like, dude, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, they have all your shit. Okay, they know exactly where you are. They can pinpoint everything. The use of the internet is they got you. And I would love to get off the internet. I'm gonna make AI Sam, conspiracy AI Sam. We're just conspiracy AI guy just rants about conspiracies, and then I just live my best life.
That's the way to do it. If you
conspiracy AI Sam, he's questioning everything. He wonders what the lizards are up to.
The good thing is you won't even have to make your own theme song. The AI will make its own theme song.
Oh, dude, probably a better one than that one.
I saw a trailer for a new Tom Hanks movie, and it's got him and the girl from Forrest Gump, Jenna, and they are playing themselves through an entire lifetime. So it's got him looking like a teenager and him looking like he's 90 all throughout this film, dude. And it's to me, it's like the first of what are going to be a series of new films now going into the future where they use artificial intelligence and deep fakery to bring dead actors back, to take actors who are old, like they tried to do with The Irishman, remember, with De Niro, but it just wasn't convincing back then. They're gonna put, like, Pacino now is going to be getting to do mob movies again. As a young man, get ready, dude, because the floodgates are about to be opened on that shit. The Tom Hanks movie is going to be huge. It's going to be the first one of this kind of new breed, but it's coming, dude. They're going to experiment with that over the next decade, and it's going to be annoying.
Yeah, I mean, what are rich kids going to do now?
What do you mean? Who are the rich kids in this?
All the actors are going to lose all their jobs to AI. What are they going to do now? Well, how are rich kids going to get validation for winning the sperm lottery? How are they going to get? It's like I like, dude. This town is so bad. I don't feel. I mean, like, it's really sad how far Hollywood has fallen. That I have zero sympathy for any of these fucking people. I just don't. But you know what that means? It will eventually come by and get my shit. I know that. But still, it's just like, oh my God, the actors aren't going to work. Oh my God, with their shitty political views and how they look down on everybody and how they just play patty cakes and make believe with life because they were born into a world of wealth. Wah.
Just keep making this House of the Dragon show and I'll be all right. Did you watch the last episode?
I watched the first two episodes.
No, you got to get to the last. The last episode is
the last.
Shit,
I know,
dude.
You told me.
It's the shit.
Are you excited about the major boners? Is that what you're excited about?
Well, no, that's not it. There was a lot of titties too. There was way more titties than boners. There was one boner and like 12 titties.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on
No,
HBO.
it's
It's on Max.
It's Max. It's like really even sad that we say Max.
I know.
That's just another demoralization campaign that we
dumb.
have to register. We have to recognize Cinemax over HBO.
What other business can you imagine where it would make any sense for them to take one of the most prestigious brands in the history of television and just do away with it? Just
And
gone.
destroy it.
Yeah.
And destroy it.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, let's get into our pick of the week.
Dude, pick of the week, something safe. Just put it in your IRA, put it away. UPS, $134. You can't beat it. UPS right now, baby.
I'm going to buy some UPS right now.
Yeah, UPS. You can't. It's very safe, pays a nice dividend. It's going to bounce off of this 134 mark. I like it. Look, the 2024 portfolio is just cranking. BBH, XLF, we got Apple, Philip Morris. We bought it at 39, it's at 47, paying like a 4-5% dividend. The 2024 portfolio, and I'm going to pick up some John Deere tomorrow. I'm going to put a little John Deere in there. DE.
Oh shit, you live in dangerous.
Yes.
You live in dangerous, son. All right, guys, so that's it. UPS. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to start getting some more guests on here. That's our goal. We're going to fine tune this show even more. That's my goal. You're going to be able to find it on Spotify. You're going to be able to find it on Twitter, and you're going to be able to find it on Rumble as well. Let's go, bro. Let's go. And see you guys on the extremely lucrative Patreon, where the bangers bang. You want to make money? You want to make some lucrative money? Go follow Howie, Dewey, and all of us on the Patreon. That's where you get the magic.
What's the URL for that? What's the web address, Sam?
Patreon.com/CashDaddy.